Hey folks, welcome to Gun Fu Training. My name is Jeff, and today we're going to talk about range etiquette and basic handgun safety. Two topics that kind of go hand in hand. So for starters, let me introduce you folks to this gentleman here. This is Colonel Jeff Cooper. He was a Marine, and he was a combat veteran of both World War II and the Korean War. And he came up with what I like to call the golden rule. All guns are always loaded. Even if they're not, we treat them as if they are. And I like to read into that, even if we think they're not loaded, we should treat them as if they are. Because in my years of working as a range safety officer, I can tell you, I've seen people put holes in the floors, the ceilings, the two walls, and on a number of occasions, they put holes in the bench that was directly in front of them. And most of the time, this was done with unloaded guns, or they thought the guns were unloaded. So in fact, if you treat a firearm as if it's always loaded, even if it's not, you want to treat it as if it's loaded. If you do that, you never make a mistake and shoot something or someone and do some sort of damage. So I know you may have heard the terms accidental discharge and negligent discharge, but in my book, there is no such thing as an accidental discharge. Accidents don't just happen, they happen for a reason. If you shoot someone or something, if you injure someone or damage some property, under the law, that's not viewed as being an accident, it's viewed as negligence, and you're responsible for it. So remember, treat every gun as if it's always loaded, even if you think it's not, treat it as if it is. So from that golden rule, you get the big three rules that the Texas Department of Public Safety would want you to know if you choose to pursue your license to carry. And these are the basic three rules that I like to use when I teach firearms. Rule number one, always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. Never point it at anything you don't want to destroy. Okay? When you get to a gun range, and here's where the etiquette portion comes in, and you set your case down and you open that case up, if that firearm is pointed any other direction other than downrange, do the folks around you a favor, and the safety officer, rotate the case so that that gun is pointed downrange before you touch it. That way, if it negligently goes off, it's going off in a downrange direction. I have seen people open up gun cases and the gun was literally pointed towards the direction of the safety officer behind them, which was me. And I have seen people pick guns up by the trigger. I've seen people reach around and pick guns up like this. I've even seen people pick guns up and point them at themselves with their thumbs on the trigger and then flip the gun around. So again, rotate the case. That's just common range etiquette. Number two, in the etiquette category, if you're going to be unholstering a firearm, turn your body towards the berm and take the gun out and point it downrange. Nobody likes to have somebody, especially the safety officer who is standing behind, no one likes to have someone pull a gun out with their finger on the trigger and have that gun pointed back at them, or pull the gun out and have it pointed to the left or the right. Okay? Always turn your body so that the side of your body containing the firearm is pointed downrange for unholstering purposes. Okay, so that was rule number one, keep it pointed in a safe direction. Rule number two, keep your finger off the trigger, keep it indexed along the frame unless you're pushed out and already on target and ready to pull the trigger. Okay, guns just don't go off. You actually have to pull the trigger. And I've had people at the range and I've told them you need to have your finger off the trigger. And so what they do is they're like, okay, my finger's off the trigger. Okay, well, it's still on trigger guard. You have to get specific with some people. I always tell people now, take your finger out of the trigger guard. It should be indexed along the frame, because if your finger is on the trigger and someone startles you, or you sneeze, or you cough, or you just have a brain fart. I've seen people do it at gun ranges, and I've seen them shoot the ceiling, the floor, like I said, the walls, everything. So you want the finger off the trigger until you press out and you go to shoot. Now, when you come off target, and whether or not you have a high ready position or a low ready position, it doesn't matter. Keep the finger indexed. I always tell folks, if you're shooting and you need to come off target, just finger off, bring it back, relax the shoulders for a moment, and then push out again, and you'll be much more stable. Rule number three, know your target, the backstop, and what lies beyond it. And I like to read into this one a little bit. Know your target, the backstop, what lies beyond it, but also know what's in your immediate vicinity. Heaven forbid you're at a grocery store, or let's say a Walmart, and there's an active shooter there, and you know what, you have a firearm and he's killing innocent people, and you have a chance to stop him. Heaven forbid you draw on him and you miss. Okay? And I like to keep it kind of lighthearted. Let's say you're shooting at this guy and you miss him and he's standing next to the gas pump at Walmart. If you blow up the gas pump, you blow up the Walmart, the Walton family is coming after you. But in a very real sense, you only want to shoot a target that you're capable of hitting. Also, if you're in an active shooter situation and you're shooting at the bad guy, realize some people may be running around crazy. It's a very chaotic situation. They may run in your line of fire and you don't want to hurt somebody. So the big three, always keep it pointed in a safe direction. And remember, your gun can be like a helicopter. It can go up and down, left and right, back and forward. You just can't point up or down or left or right. Firearm pointed in a safe direction. Finger indexed along the frame, off the trigger unless you're ready to fire. And of course that last one, be aware of your target, what lies beyond it, and what's in the immediate vicinity. So if you do these things at the gun range, it is proper range etiquette because the people next to you do not want to see a gun point in their direction. And I can tell you, the range safety officer that's behind you, if you go in and you show proper gun handling and proper range etiquette, that safety officer will like you and they will want you to come back to the gun range. If you're flagging your neighbors and there is no excuse whatsoever, loaded, unloaded. I saw a guy at the range the other day had a chamber flag in his unloaded gun and stepped out of the bay and flagged a couple of people with it. There's absolutely no excuse for that. And the range officer will not want you there and they'll probably kick you out, and with good reason. So in closing, please treat every gun as if it's always loaded. Remember the big three rules that descend from that. And if you like the video, hit the like button. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when we post new content. And in closing, thanks again for watching and we hope you have a great day.